Now, Sports Talk with Brodes. Here's Hunter Brody.
Hey everyone, before we hop into the show, I want to let you know I am giving away a Bryce Harper jersey. All you need to do is go to my Twitter, @Brodes81, check out the pinned tweet at the top of my profile. It explains the rules. The rules are very simple. Follow me and retweet the tweet. Boom. Then you are entered to win. Every Wednesday, I do a hump day giveaway, so a new giveaway is established every Wednesday, so that's when I pick the winner, which will be DM'd. If you win, you will be DM'd. So I just want to give everyone an opportunity to head over to my Twitter to get a chance to win. Good luck. What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Brodes. That was a phenomenal baseball game by the Philadephia Phillies. Zack Wheeler was on another level. Okay, dominant doesn't even explain what we just witnessed on both sides of the diamond for the pitcher. Hello? Who wants a DH in the National League? I sure don't. I didn't even touch on last game, and shame on me for not even mentioning it because there was so much going on. But Aaron Nola putting down a bunt, Aaron Nola up at the dish, Aaron Nola at the plate. I love it. I love that dynamic of baseball. Now, I know where this is trending. I know where this is going. Eventually, we're not going to have this excitement. We're not going to have the ability to see Zack Wheeler walk up to the dish and provide his own RBIs and to give the Phillies the lead like we witnessed. So it is something that you should appreciate in the moment because it's going. See you later. Goodbye. We won't be able to see the pure enjoyment and the craft of a pitcher going up to the plate and swinging the stick. But holy hell, was Zack Wheeler exciting. And we'll start with what he did on the mound. He started off the game with a triple-digit ball blowing right by Ronald Acuna Jr. And the moment I saw that, I knew we were going to have a special day. I knew that Zack Wheeler was dialed in. My man was cruising high 90s. My man was cruising with the four-seamer. And even before the game started, I was somewhat laughing with myself. And yes, that's right, I do that. And tweeting away. I'm so excited to watch Zack Wheeler throw beautifully executed double play pitches because that's what he does. You're going to get in trouble. There's going to be a guy on first base, maybe one out in the inning. Well, here comes Zack Wheeler. He's going to throw a ball perfectly for contact, weak contact. Let's turn two, bang, bang, and you're out of the inning. But halfway through the game, I realized, hey, Braves, you actually have to hit the ball and you actually have to get a hit to get on first. So then we can even get the double play ball action. But that wasn't the case. This Phillies pitching staff, the whole pitching staff, held this squad, this deep Braves lineup, may I add. Do I really have to run through the top four hitters of this team? Acuna, Ozzie Albies, Freddie Freeman, Ozuna. 0 hits for those fools. 0. And 0 walks. How are you going to execute anything and score runs, I should say, if you can't execute anything at all while these pitchers are on the bump? Credit to, in the 8th inning, a little bit of Archie Bradley. Credit to Hector Neris. 3 Ks on the day for him in the 9th. Incredible stuff. It really is. Zack Wheeler, though, with the way he was utilizing his pitches and the velocity on his pitches, and he was cruising. Four-seamer, sinker, slider. Good luck. That version of Zack Wheeler is probably one of the most entertaining versions of a pitcher that I've seen in quite some time. As much as I love Aaron Nola, I love Nola, and I love when he dices through lineups. What I just watched out of Zack Wheeler, I mean, it tickled my nuts. I mean, it really did. I had this sensation underneath, but I didn't know what was going on. Whoa! What is this? I need more of this. Whatever it is, please make sure that next time you're up, the next time your number's called and it's your spot in the rotation to go out and deliver again, please give me that tingle because I need more of it. Now let's get to what he did when he was up at the plate. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It was a bit of a pitcher's duel, too. Charlie Morton and Zack Wheeler going back and forth, and they were both showing their skill set. Charlie Morton has had the success in this league that he has had for a reason. He is a guy that you can rely on, and there is a dynamic of it's going to be a tough day at the office, and you saw that throughout, but he cracked. He cracked in that 5th inning, and I think the 5th and the 6th inning specifically definitely stand out to me because I talked about with this team in game 1, what did they do? They grinded through Max Fried, and they forced him to throw a lot of pitches. Whether Didi Gregorius struck out or not, he forced you to work for that strikeout. So even if it wasn't the most pleasant to the eye, there was this grind factor that the Phillies did in game 1 on Fried that allowed them to win the baseball game. Here, not as much as full-on grind mode, but what they did in the 5th and the 6th is they took advantage of you making mistakes. So what happened in the 5th? With 2 strikes, Segura gets a single. You hit Roman Quinn. Then now, Zack Wheeler, after you allow a hit with 2 strikes on you, and not only that, you hit Roman Quinn with the pitch, your pitcher, of all people, is going to knock it out into the outfield, and he's going to produce a run himself during that pitcher's duel. But you make a mistake, this lineup can do the damage and make you pay. Now, after that, McCutchen walked. And now Rhys Hoskins, with 2 strikes, gets a beautiful hit down the third base line. So you're constantly making some problematic things occur, and the Phillies are saying, guess what? You're going to give us those chances? You're going to give us those opportunities? Fine. Guess what? We're going to make sure you pay. We're going to make sure you are going to pay. And there is something that I don't like out of Rhys Hoskins during that at-bat, even though I do need to praise him for coming up big in that moment because he did with 2 strikes on him. That 1-1 pitch that he swung through, that old Rhys Hoskins, what we saw early in his career, Rhys Hoskins, and maybe it's fair for me to keep dating back to that and think that that's who he can be and that's who he truly is. Maybe he's not anymore, and I have to lower my expectations. But the old Rhys Hoskins would kill that baseball out of the ballpark. That would have been a grand slam because at the time, it was bases loaded. That 1-1 pitch that Rhys just swings right through, it makes me cringe, and it makes me so upset because that's where I talk about the depth of this lineup with McCutchen, Rhys, Bryce, JT, who had 2 hits on the day. Boom, Didi, Segura in that 7-hole. The power of that being your top 7, and I specifically look at it as a top 6 type of thing, but whatever, we'll throw Segura in there as well. If he could be that 280 hitter he was when he first got here in Philly, he was even better than that in the years past. 300 hitter in Seattle for 3 straight years. But even if you get a 280 version of Gene Segura, add that as your 7 hitter, and you're talking about the power of this lineup, and you have no breathing room if you're Charlie Morton. If you're any pitcher, when are you going to get that chance to breathe? When Roman Quinn is up and he's swinging through pitches in the 6th and the 8th inning? Yeah, maybe that's about it. Maybe that's your only chance in that 8th spot. It ain't your 9th if Zack Wheeler's out, though. Man, unbelievable. Rhys has to be able to hit that homer. And I feel bad talking about that as if the guy produced you 2 runs. The guy put 2 runs on the board for you. Still, there's got to be a realistic approach here saying, Rhys, come on, that pitch that you missed out on, that's one that has to blow this game out. Make a statement. Put them on their deathbed for that night. Say something to the Braves when you're running around second base, right? Flip them off. Not actually, but with that type of shot, that moonshot that you could deliver, that could be the statement in baseball form. Not actually run around the bases and start flipping the bird off the people, of course. All right, so let's get to the 6th inning. Bohm walks. Didi gets hit by a pitch. What do? You make them pay. You make them pay. You're going to walk Alec Bohm? Guess what? You don't want to walk. You don't want to walk hitters. You're giving them a free pass. And when you do that, good teams will make you pay. You're going to hit Didi with the pitch, right? You see the common theme here? So it might not be the sexiest thing to the eye when you watch this offense play, but it's also 2 games in. They're not going to be in their purest form. Just like I think the Braves are a significantly better team than what they showed you today. And as you get into a groove and as you get into a rhythm of getting a feel of regular pitching again and going up against real number ones and number twos, and it's no longer spring training and there's a different mentality, the Braves are going to be fine. Freddie Freeman's going to figure it out. Acuna Jr. is going to figure it out. I mean, hell, he had a couple hits in game one. These players are going to be better versions of themselves, and that's across the board. That's the Braves, that's the Mets, that's the Phillies, that's the Dodgers, that's the Yankees, that's that. That's anyone in a game where you play 162 regular season games. Your first 2, 3, 4, 5 games, there's an adjustment period to get him back into a feel and see him pitching again, and the intensity being there, and the fans back in the crowd, all of it. So while the offense, 4-0, there might be some that are a little afraid of what they've seen, and hey, is this lineup really as deep as what you thought? They're taking advantage. They're being opportunistic. And that's something that stands out to me, where not every night you're going to be able to just go through your lineup and get 2 hits from everybody. Realistically, that's never going to happen. But you get my point. Being a lethal offensive team, if that's your MO, which I think it is. So I had a show today from 6 to 8 p.m. leading you into Sixers basketball on 97.5 The Fanatic. And I opened up the show saying, when I look at this Phillies team, now it's only 2 games in, but my point I was trying to make is, if you've been listening to my Sixer stuff, Flyer stuff, I look for the identity of a team. I try and establish what is their MO going to be. Who are they going to be? What is their motto? And with this Phillies team, I think it is 1 through 6. That's their motto. That's how they're going to win games. Now, some might say, well, it's going to be the bullpen, because last year you knew what you had, and the bullpen being so disastrous is the difference in your team. But if you have a below average or average bullpen, that doesn't mean you win games because your bullpen. You might look at that naturally based off of what the problem was last year and what it's going to be this year with the bullpen. It's going to be night and day. But if you looked at Tampa Bay last year, who they were was get to your bullpen and you're not going to win. Now, it backfired late because they were so heavily focused on their bullpen. They ran out of gas by the World Series, and guys were struggling late because you put too many innings on their back, and it backfired for sure. And it was something that they lived and died with. They tried it, and unfortunately they died against a team that was way stronger than them anyway, so you can't really fault them for it. But my point is, the Rays, their identity was bullpen. This team, their bullpen's going to be way better than last year, and that's going to make you look at the bullpen with a different set of eyes. But at the end of the day, when I look at this Phillies team, I think it's going to come down to 1 through 6 in the lineup being opportunistic and being hard to go through. They're going to grind you out. They're going to make you throw a lot of pitches. They're going to be professionals from Kutch, Reese, Bryce, JT, Didi, Bohm, and then Didi, Gene Segura, like that whole, and that's even throwing the 7th in there, that's going to be what makes this team successful or not. Now, the bullpen will help. The starting pitching will help. You need that too. You obviously need that part of a team to be strong and to be successful. But if I'm thinking identity of the team right now, and it's a very small 2-game window, but I feel that possibly it will be how opportunistic and how professional 1 through 6, and you can throw 7 in there as well, will be in this lineup. And that's what you saw in this game. 2-out production. Once again, when you are established, you know what you're doing, you grind through pitchers, you have 2 out, doesn't matter, 2 outs. 2 outs, fine. We will produce. We will put points on the board. That is extremely beneficial, and that's a killer mentality. It really is. That's when things get a little bit more intense. That's when you need to bear down more. That's when you need to focus up at the plate more. And what ends up happening? Special play after special play, whether it's Zack Wheeler, Rhys Hoskins, I mean, those are big-time plays. And you got to give credit to them. Bryce Harper. Let's get to Bryce Harper because he went 1 and 3, although he could have had 2 hits. Ozzie Albies made a phenomenal play at second base to rob him of a second hit in the game. But there is something that stood out to me, and I think this is something that stood out to everyone. I saw the Twitter sphere going nuts during the time, and it makes sense that it irritated some a little bit. I wonder, though, with Bryce, you know what you're getting out of him, and he's super aggressive on the base paths. Now, sometimes it's just dumb. And in this game, when I saw him rope one out in the right field, I knew instantly, as soon as I saw him hustling, he was going to get thrown out. It was inevitable that he was going to get canned and gunned out at second base. Now, his aggressiveness have hurt this team twice now. I thought the play at third base in game 1 was way closer and more of something I could live with. This play here, I'm cool with you being aggressive. And I'll take the good with the bad with Bryce Harper any single day of the week. And he's someone that can make an aggressive mistake and you can live with it because it's Bryce Harper. And you know what he means to this franchise. And you know what the mentality of Bryce Harper does to the clubhouse. And you want that motor. Him doing that sparks and elevates this team because he is that emotional leader, vocal leader, physical leader, mental leader. He's every type of leader. Any type of leader you can think of, that's Bryce Harper to this team. But you got to realize the difference between stupidity and dumb and smart choosing your aggressive moments. Because there's times where methodically it's the right decision to make, and you can take that chance and you can pounce on it. But at that moment in the game, early on, you're trying to take two. Yo, dude, just stay on first base. You didn't have a shot. That's just being over-aggressive to be over-aggressive. There does have to be structure involved on when you want to take that next step, when you want to push it to the limit, when you want to try and force the opposing team to throw the baseball, and you were out by 5,000 miles. So Bryce just needs to be a little bit stronger in that area. I mentioned Morton. He finished with 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs. And as I alluded to, it was a battle, and it was a back and forth for a little bit of time until that 5th where the Phillies came out and was able to execute. So Zack Wheeler had 16 swing and misses with his stuff today. Filthy is an understatement. I really think the word filthy and disgusting does him a disservice because he was on another level. He was a tier higher than that, and it was unreal. I love pitching duels. I know that's something that isn't very popular and it's not appealing to the eye, but there's nothing better than the chess match between two pitchers that know, hey, I can't make that one mistake. When you're in that 5th inning and you realize, hey, I can't do that because what I'm seeing in Morton, he's mowing down this lineup. And then Morton's thinking, wow, what Wheeler's doing to Freeman and Ozuna and Acuna and these players, I can't make that mistake because we might not have enough firepower to overcome this. And, yeah, that was the case. One dinky hit up the middle. One little how do you do up the middle. One hit up the middle. Darno. Ugh. Could you imagine? Zack Wheeler was only at 90 pitches. Talk about efficient. 90 pitches in his 7 innings. No walks, too. Right? There's so much to dive into with the four-seamer, with the sinker, with the slider. And, oh, yeah, by the way, didn't walk a damn soul. No free passes. Good teams, if you give them a free pass, there might be a little bit of some momentum. Even, it sounds so simple, like, hey, you walked someone. Maybe you walked someone with 2 outs. You walked someone with 1 out. All right, it happens, right? But just the tiniest little thing, like walking your opponent, could be the difference in the spark happening in that inning. Like, hey, you walk Alec Bohm. Well, you hit Didi with a pitch. Well, now what's going on here? There's 2 guys on. Oh, what's that? There's 2 outs. Oh, it doesn't matter. Zack Wheeler, and I'm laughing because it's so hysterical, but Zack Wheeler goes the other way with it. And did he just look so comfortable up the bat, too? He wanted to be there. He didn't look overwhelmed. How many times do you see a pitcher up there who just he looks like the little kid that plays 3 outs in 1 inning in Little League where you have to throw them out there just because it's the rules of Little League. They have to play, or Little Jimmy's parents might be upset. And not just because Little Jimmy's parents, of course, but it's a league rule. But they stand up there with their elbow up and they just wait. And they look back at the umpire and they wait for the next pitch. And they look back at the umpire and they wait for the next pitch. And they look back at the umpire. That's kind of what you get with some of these pitchers. Zack Wheeler was up there saying, give me a pitch I can hit, damn it. And guess what? When you do, oh, what's that? Lefty, lefty. Oh, baby, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what's going on. Lefty, lefty, doesn't matter. And that reminds me of Adam Hazley. He did get a hit against a lefty in the first game, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be anything too serious. So that's good news, and maybe we can get Roman Quinn out of the lineup because he is so damn overpowered at the plate. It makes my eyes bleed. I want to see Adam Hazley out there as much as possible. Think about this matchup for tomorrow, by the way. 1 o'clock tilt. You got Zach Eflin versus Ian Anderson. I am so intrigued by both of them, realistically. I love Ian Anderson. I think he's got some nasty stuff. And you think about that draft class, and you think about Mickey Moniak, and you think about Ian Anderson and what he can be, and it just makes me uncomfortable. But what doesn't make me uncomfortable is this. DeSimone Jewelers. They are the best in the business. They are now in Haddonfield, New Jersey, but they moved from Jewelers Row. They've been in business for over 40 plus years. They have so much experience, and I went to them for my engagement ring. I also went back for Christmas. I'm going back again for a birthday gift. It is the greatest experience of your life when you're picking out jewelry for your significant other. They don't use sale tactics. They sit you down and they teach you about what you're purchasing. They show you options and they educate you about the selections. They treat their customers like family. It is incredible. Words don't even do it justice. You need to go in there and experience it yourself. They customize and they manufacture every ring they make from start to finish right there on location. And because of that, they're able to beat all of their competitors' prices. I've sent so many family members and friends to their direction, and I constantly get the same reaction. Brodes, this is incredible. And I go, I know, I told you, and you'll know exactly what I mean when you go in there and you say, Brodes sent me. The amount of friends that I sent in their direction and said, dude, you want to get your engagement ring? Because I got so many buddies that are getting married. Within the next 2 summers, I have 6,000 weddings. And they've all went to DeSimone Jewelers because I told them about them. And it's seriously wild that we all have the same thoughts and the same experience. It is the best. There's no way that you can get better service than at DeSimone Jewelers. Make sure you check out their information. It is all down below in the description. All right, why don't we right now, as I got a piece of hair sticking out of my mouth, you know when you got that feeling on your tongue and you're trying to grab it and your thumb and your pointer finger, and you keep missing it over and over again? I swear that's happening to me right now. Maybe a fat cup of, nope, I already have my cup of coffee, Brodes. Don't do this. My fat soda, though, it's not fat. It's a normal can. I don't know where I'm going here. It's been a long-ass day, but I do know that Rhys Hoskins looked at a pitch where he should have hit it, and it costed the Phillies more runs, and I wasn't happy with that. After he already delivered in the 5th, he had a second opportunity, and it just wasn't strong for my liking. But I want to go to the Anytime Hotline now. That's the direction we're going. Try and establish a little bit more of a flow here. I'm bouncing all over the walls. Here we go. Anytime Hotline.
Yo, what's going on, bros? You saw that Phillies stuff, and Zack Wheeler saw an absolute phenomenal pitching game. Only gave up 1 hit, 4-0 Phillies, 2-0. We are in the playoffs, World Series bound.
Now, 1, very unfortunate there was some cracking involved in that call. But 2, that's got to be a little bit of a troll, right? As excited as I am, as juiced up as I am, we've seen this. We've seen this out of this team over the last couple of years. What ends up happening? Well, you start out hot, you win a couple games early, you beat the Braves. I remember getting some big-time wins against the Braves in years past. To start the season, you start fist-pumping, you start smelling yourself, you think that you're this fantastic team, and then halfway through the year, you start to fall apart a bit. Maybe Andrew McCutchen gets hurt, and then you can't find anyone to step into that leadoff spot. You fall apart in August, you fall apart in September, you lose a big chunk of games. We've seen that a billion times. So it's 2 games. There does seem to be a different vibe right now, but I think, too, the best way to describe this is when you go from Eagles to Sixers, because the Eagle season starts in that, you have the preseason in August, September it starts, but then Sixers basketball normally starts traditionally before all this COVID. It starts when? October, November, December. Everyone says that normally the NBA season doesn't technically start until Christmas Day. But my point is, because the season's so long, you go from a season where every game matters so much. The 16 NFL games once a week, they're so important and they're so heavily valued because there's only so many games. So then when the Sixers start mid-season of football, you apply that same logic to the Sixers because you're accustomed to it with football. Because the Eagles games mean so much because there's only once a week, you think the same way about the start of the Sixers season until you readjust your body, you readjust your mind that, hey, there's 82 of these bad boys. You can't be having that same emotional roller coaster because it's a different type of season. With 162, you even take that to a whole nother level. The last time we saw a season season of 162 was way too long ago because the last season was 60 games. So I know the 60 game was such an outlier. You've experienced more 162 than 60, but because the 60 was the last thing you've witnessed, I think we need to get into that mentality of just readjusting our baseball clock into, okay, 2 of 162 is even way tinier of a value portion than 1 of 82 of a Sixers and Flyers game. So while I'm pumped up, I'm juiced up, Zack Wheeler throwing the heat, giving me triple digits on the gun, makes me want to run through my damn fucking walls. I understand that. Let's tamper it down a bit while appreciating what we're watching, right? Let's be pumped. Let's be juiced. Let's love every moment of Phillies baseball. But also understand we've seen this early in a season before. We've seen a downfall. We've seen a collapse. Let's just appreciate the ride for right now before we start talking about what this means and what the Mets are and what the Braves really are. Nobody knows yet.
Zack Wheeler. Holy shit, he was amazing. Now, nothing else to say in this game. At the plate and in the pitching, his stuff was nasty. He was pumping 100 consistently. I mean, he looks insanely good so far. He's better hitter than Roman Quinn. He should bat instead of Roman. But I thought it was a clean game all around. Only gave up 1 hit the whole game. Neris looks really good in the bullpen.
Neris does, but Neris has his ups and downs. He's always heavily criticized. He's overanalyzed, I would say, to a degree. But when you are a closer, that is tough. I thought based off of circumstances, he's not your most elite closer in the world. He's not your Mariano Rivera. He's not that guy that you look at as the closer. But he plays that role because of personnel. He plays that role because of what you had on this roster throughout the years. And I think he somewhat established himself as a nice little role. Like, yeah, he goes through ups and downs, and yeah, he has tougher stretches, but it was almost like he was forced to be in that role when maybe that's not the best thing for him, but then he somewhat established himself as someone that can at least hold his own, so he earned that chance, and I don't know. I mean, I just think the expectations for him to be like this shut-down, insane guy, if that's what you think Hector Neris is, well, then that's a problem on your end. To think that Hector Neris is a guy that's not ever going to make mistakes and he's the perfect closer in the world, that's a mistake on your end. That's the way that you're thinking that is putting these false expectations on Hector Neris. I think Hector Neris is just an okay closer. He's an average closer. He'll give you some good saves. He'll mess up. He'll give you an ugly one, but he'll give you some good saves. He's just your average guy. And right now, with all the holes that you had, to stay with an average closer while you fix other pieces of your bullpen. And let's say Hector has a little bit of a hiccup. You might have other options to throw in there and maybe put him in a different role, and you can try other things if he does become a little bit of a disappointment as the season goes on. But this is what Hector Neris has always been. He's given you some good closure moments. He's given you some ugly ones. He's been very strong, and he utilizes that splitter, and it's fantastic, and no one can do anything with it, and they fall for it, and they're fooled, and they swing at pitches in the dirt. And then at times he can't locate them at all. But I think he's just your average guy. He's just your average closer. And to demand anything more than that, well, then I think you're putting false expectations on a guy. And then maybe, what, you want to yell at Dave Dombrowski for not going out and getting a real closer? Well, there's only so much you can do in one offseason. You bring back Didi, you bring back JT, you bolster up the bullpen in other ways, and then you got to live with a Hector Neris. All right, sign me up. There's so many other problems with this team last year that, all right, we'll see where this takes us. And if you do want to make a change, and you want to look at it, Archie Bradley, you want to look at a guy like Connor Brogdon at some point, fine. I'm not telling you I'm stuck with Hector forever and I'm tied to him at the hip, but I just think that there's so many false expectations for him to be a Mariano Rivera. Like, come on now, right? That's where I'm at here. But yeah, Zack Wheeler, the Roman Quinn. That was pretty funny. Roman Quinn stinks. Zack Wheeler, he can swing the stick.
Zack Wheeler for Cy Young and Silver Slugger, anyone? All jokes aside, he was unreal today. Man, that was a dominant effort from the pitching crew. It's not often recently that you can say the Phillies pitching really won in this game, but they did. I'm still going to be a little bit pessimistic, though, and say that Alec Bohm slumping and the Phillies leaving so many runners in scoring position still sits a little bit weird with me. In fact, if it wasn't for Zack Wheeler, they would only have, I think 1 or 2 runs. It wouldn't have been as convincing as a win.
I understand. I do. I understand what people are saying when it's like, hey, this offense isn't as dynamic as we thought, and this offense isn't clicking as we thought. But let's look at the Braves, right? Like, let's apply this logic. We all know the Braves are special. We all know the Braves have talent. Well, the Braves have come off really slow here. They're not able to hit anybody. They're struggling. Do you think this is really who they are, or would you imagine that they're a better version of themselves somewhere deep down? Well, I think we can all agree that they're a better version than this. This isn't who the Braves are going to be. They have too many really phenomenal players in that lineup. So why are they struggling? Early in the season, not seeing as much pitching, like this elite pitching, haven't gotten that yet. So it takes a little bit of time to adjust and get into a groove. Same could be said about this Phillies team. And there's a difference between, like, they're being not optimistic. They're being timely. They're getting their timely hits. They're getting their opportunities, and they're making the most of their opportunities right now. Sometimes that's what it's going to have to be. Sometimes you might not have the perfect night where everyone's clicking, but there are times where you just get the right hit at the right time, no matter who it is. It could be Bamboo Brad one night. It could be Roman Quinn one night. It could be Adam Hazley. It could be Bryce Harper. It could be McCutchen. It could be this guy. It could be that guy. It could be somebody. But that's the point of this game, that it relies on 9 guys up at the plate, or sometimes even more when it comes to utility players. It is going to be a different guy, different night. Tonight, ironically enough, after all this, it happened to be Zack Wheeler. But here's what I know. The Braves could have been that team that were opportunistic. That's the word I was looking for. But they weren't. And the Phillies were. So there's your positive. The Phillies were. There might be games where it comes back to bite them, where they weren't able to get that timely hit, where they did fall because they left guys on runners in scoring position. But there's also times where you just need that 1 or 2, and bang, you got that 1 and 2, and the rest is history. So it's too early to really know. I think it's more of a product of starting the season again, more so than it is this team's just not going to be able to handle it long term.
All right, Hunter, I'm not going to say anything about the offense being pure manure tonight. Let's establish that right off the bat. But today was the Zack Wheeler show. I mean, outstanding pitching performance, in total command, and God, was it nice to see the bullpen actually come in and get hitters out. A big win for the Phillies because if nothing else, even if you lose tomorrow, you take 2 out of 3 from the Braves. And now you're in position where, hey, you can stick the fork in them and send them back with a sweep. So let's go, Phils. Got to get the bats going, but the arms have been there so far.
That's a great point about taking 2 or 3. That is something that obviously I talked about earlier on was Braves, Mets, come out hot. But the fact that you got the first 2 under your belt, not that you should take your foot off the gas at all, but I do think that there's a different level of pressure involved from the Phillies at this point, and maybe that's a downfall heading into Game 3 where the Braves have a different sense of urgency with Ian Anderson on the bump to make sure they at least escape Philadelphia with 1 win under their belts. So maybe it might end up backfiring because the Braves know that, hey, we got to get a win here. We cannot get swept. But this is now 2 games in a row that your bullpen delivered for you and came up very big, very strong, knowing that was the Achilles heel. Is there a mentality now of like, hey, guys, like there's a swagger behind them. There's this confidence with them. We know that confidence is so big into sports. Carson Wentz, Carter Hart, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid. When you look at these athletes in this city, the confidence level is the difference on how some of these guys play in certain moments. And when you have confidence and when you believe in one another and when there's that brotherhood of like, hey, let's go to that bullpen. We're not afraid. Compared to last year, it's like, shit, here we go again. Damn it. We are totally going to blow this 1-run lead that we have in the 7th inning because we're going to Brandon Workman, because we're going to Heath Hembry, because we're going to Adam Morgan, because we're going to Tommy Hunter, because we're going to some of these guys that constantly got destroyed over and over again. Now it's, all right, let's go, Archie. Here we go, get. Right, here we go, get. Even though he's not a kid, I'm just pretending I'm in the dugout right now, giving him a little hoorah on the sides here. But you feel like, hey, we can do this. We can get this done. I feel good in this because our team has a little bit of swag right now. All right, let's take one more here.
Let's go, Brodes. The Phillies with a 4-0 win over the Braves. Zack Wheeler. It was an amazing game. 1 game down, 2 to go. What?
Oh, 1 game down, 2 to go. Wait, I think he just messed up then because he mentioned Zack Wheeler. I was going to say, was that a call from the Aaron Nola game? But he mentioned Zack Wheeler and how awesome he was, right? Let me just replay that real quick.
Let's go, Brodes. The Phillies with a 4-0 win over the Braves. Zack Wheeler with an amazing game. 1 game down.
Okay, so I think there was a little bit of a mistake on his end there. But we get the point, right? A little hype for Zack Wheeler, as we should be, because it was a dominating performance. And I was blown away. I really was. Well, I've seen Zack Wheeler pitch plenty of times, not even when he was in Philadelphia. When he was with New York, how many times did we see that matchup of Zack Wheeler? But damn, right? Damn. Zack Wheeler was cruising. That fastball was unreal. That fastball was cruising by guys. Triple digits out of Zack Wheeler, that consistency, that early, this early into the season, like, whoo. His fastball averaging that velocity, god damn. God damn. I'm ready for his next start. Put him on the mound tomorrow. I need more of it. I use that Zeke Elliott gif of him putting the cereal in his face nonstop and said, feed me more of that. Because that's exactly what I need in my life. It is more of that version of Zach Eflin. Before we end this show, I do need to let you know about my friends over at DraftKings. What a phenomenal Final Four, may I add. Gonzaga wins it at the bubble. It's going to be a great tilt on what we are going to see in this national championship. But all I know is this. I don't know who's going to win, but this is what I do know. DraftKings Sportsbooks has so many odds and promotion boosts, not only for college basketball, but also for hockey, pro basketball, golf, and so much more. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app right now and use promo code BRODES when you sign up. That is code BRODES when you sign up for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. So many odds and promotion boosts, you will not want to miss this. You have to give yourself the opportunity to get the best odds out there that you can possibly find, and that is on DraftKings Sportsbook using the promo code BRODES. Must be 21 or older, Pennsylvania only, new customers only, restrictions apply, in partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, there you have it. 2-0 on the season, everyone. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time.